Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Boom Pow Political Vigilante. Well, as we've been talking about for the last week, pretty consistently, both on this show and when I was on Status Coup, there's more Epstein information being leaked. I've been talking about Epstein since 2019. And I have a whole Epstein playlist on my YouTube channel. Please check it out. Please hit the like and the subscribe button. All those things help. So there's new information coming out. And one of the things that I've been asking, and for everybody who's been in the, covering Epstein, is like, where are all the videos and the films and the whatever? There's no way Epstein wasn't filming these powerful people have sex with children. There's no way they weren't filming all of these people rape children, because that's how you get leverage. That's how this is why Epstein was, when Acosta in 2009, who was the prosecutor in Florida when Epstein got arrested the first time, said that Epstein was a CIA asset. This is clearly, and we had that verified by John Kiriakou when he was on this show, ex-CIA whistleblower, who said that the CIA would absolutely use whatever means necessary to get an asset. Even John Kiriakou said, and I said, would they go get kids for somebody? They said, yeah, they would. They would look the other way if that happened. So Acosta said that Epstein was a CIA asset. Of course, Acosta was then put in Trump's cabinet. Anyone who thinks Trump has no ties to Epstein is I don't know, blind to a lot of evidence, or they just hate the Clintons so much that they just don't want to acknowledge. I don't know what it is. I mean, the Clintons are obviously very guilty when it comes to Epstein. They're guilty about a lot of stuff. But to just say, oh, no, Trump's going to arrest it. No, Trump put Acosta in his cabinet. Trump was on Epstein's plane 5 times. And people say, yeah, but he didn't fly to his island. You trying to say there wasn't creepy shit happening on Epstein's plane? Come on. Or in New York at his penthouse? Come on. So new stuff is coming out. The big question I keep asking is, where is that? When we saw the video footage of Epstein's townhouse or penthouse or whatever in Manhattan, there's literally video footage of FBI agents with FBI jackets on wheeling out boxes of books and documents and hard drives and whatever else. So where is this footage? Where is it? Well, there's some new stuff coming out, and it's hard to know if this has been verified or not. So I can't say, oh, this is definitive. Here's the smoking gun. I can't say that. One of these tweets got pulled down, but this actually was sent to me by Jordan Sheridan earlier today. So this is by Technofog. Richard Branson and Bill Clinton named in the latest Jeffrey Epstein documents. Allegedly, there are tapes. Allegedly. So we don't know this for certain. I'm not saying this is for certain yet. And this is from it. It said, quote, when my friend had sexual intercourse with Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson, sex tapes were in fact filled on separate occasion by Jeffrey Epstein. So this is the actual this is one of the, now this is from the unredacted documents that just got released. She also is said to have sexual intercourse. This is from one of Epstein's victims with Clinton in Epstein's New York mansion just off of Fifth Avenue on numerous occasions. It is the New York mansion we spoke about yesterday. I was too forced by Epstein to visit regularly, and if I didn't turn up, he would personally come and find me wherever I was hiding. It still bewilders me how Epstein always seemed to know where I was, even if I didn't turn up at his New York residence. When my friend had sexual intercourse with Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson, sex tapes were in fact filmed on each separate occasion by Jeffrey. Thank God she managed to get a hold of some of the footage of the filmed sex tapes, which clearly identify the faces of Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Branson having sexual intercourse with her. Frustratingly enough, Epstein was not seen in any of the footage, but he was clever like that. So then let's go to this. Alan Dershowitz requested the court unseal these emails to reflect the credibility of the witness, Sarah Ransom. She made a number of accusations, including her friend being approached by special agents by special agents forces men sent directly by Hillary Clinton herself. A couple months later, she was then approached by special agent forces men sent directly by Hillary Clinton herself in order to protect her presidential campaign in 2008. They heavily intimidated her, roughed her up. Luckily, she took photos as evidence and was then forced to sign a confidentiality agreement, which ensures that she can never come forward publicly implicating her husband. She was then given a substantial payout directly from the Clinton Foundation to keep her quiet. She is 1,000% certain that the FBI did a cover-up, and she has the individual names of Hillary's special agent officers involved in intimidating her. She was then forced against her will to sign a legally binding confidentiality agreement on Hillary's behalf for her internal silence. If she breaks this agreement, she is dead. Again, this is like, witnesses allege the footage was backed up on several USB sticks sent to Europe. Payouts from the Clinton Foundation and the FBI cover-up, allegations. It's pretty nuts. I have backed up footage on several USB sticks and have currently sent them to various different locations throughout Europe. When my friend eventually had the courage to speak out, it went to the police in 2008 to report what had happened. Nothing was done, and she was utterly humiliated by the police department, where she went to report what had happened with Epstein, Clinton, Branson, and Prince Andrew. She was made to feel like a dirty whore and a liar and wasn't taken seriously. She then tried to sue Epstein for damages. She was severely bullied and threatened by his lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, whom she also had sexual relations with and who was heavily involved in Epstein's pedophile ring. A couple months later, she was then approached by special forces agents, men directed by Hillary Clinton herself in order to protect her presidential campaign in 2008. They heavily intimidated her, roughed her up. As I said this already, yeah. So there's that. Then there's, she confided in me about her casual friendship with Donald Trump, definitely seemed to have a thing for her. And she told me how he kept going on about how he liked her pert nipples. Donald Trump liked flicking and sucking her nipples until they were raw. One evening when we were showering together, she showed me her nipples. They looked incredibly painful or red and swollen. I also know she had sexual relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions, as I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion. This woman, Paige S., I started following. She's been covering Epstein since 2008, 2009, I think. She has this to say. There's a Daily Mail piece where Ghislaine brags about support from Branson and Lord Mendelsohn. It's archived. Richard Branson, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Terramar. This is from the Daily Mail. Why are the rich and powerful so enthralled to Ghislaine Maxwell, despite court papers linking her to tawdry sex slave scandal involving Prince Andrew and billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and still has amazing social connections? This is from, when is this from? What's the date on this? Oh, it's February 6, 2020, before her trial. So there's that. I think we've talked about Branson before. So this is the big question. If there's all this, there has to be all this video footage of all of these people raping these children. And this has to be the number one piece of evidence that the people in those videos, the ruling elites, are trying to squash. So there's just too much. And first of all, there's all that evidence that was seized by the FBI. Then we know, and just in talking with Eric Oldenburg, a former retired child crimes investigator with the Phoenix Police Department, about how pedophiles operate. And he's like, child exploitation photos and videos are a currency within the pedophile horrifying community. So they always videotape that stuff. And obviously we know that it was videotaped because that was part of Epstein's motive. I mean, this is this classic blackmail extortion thing, is we have video of you having sex with a child, of, committing rape. And so now you're going to do our bidding. You're going to, and if you're a politician, you're going to pass this law or that law or whatever, or give us money or whatever the thing is. So you have evidence of Bill Clinton, of a president, and then you've got now testimony of somebody, deposition testimony of somebody who's underage having sex with Trump. Yeah. So what does this mean? I wish I just had a definitive, a definitive answer, or I don't know. The only thing I hope, well, I'd love to obviously see all these people indicted and arrested, but since they control everything, I don't know if enough people are making noise. Cat Williams got this interview that's out. That's like, wow. He's calling out people. If everybody just keeps getting loud about it, I mean, Jim Gaffigan made a joke last night at the Golden Globes. He's like, I'm this guy from Iowa. I'm paraphrasing his joke. Obviously, he was like, I never thought I'd be famous, because I'm from Indiana and I'm not a pedophile. Like, he made that joke at the Golden Globes last night. It was like, all right, good for you, Jim. So we have to just stay on it. I'm going to keep talking about it. And there's a lot of people who have been talking about Epstein for years, people even covering it longer than I have. And we all just got to keep talking about it. We all got to get noisy about it. We all got to not let it go. Because it's awful that we're just allowing the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world to just rape children. And, well, there's also this, I forgot to show you this, from this journalist who, Liz Kronkin. Now she's in that video. There's a, this is from that Out of the Shadows that we talked about on the show and watched. The one thing with her and watching her Twitter feed, like, she comes across in this documentary as a very, solid, knowledgeable journalist. But then you look at her Twitter feed and it's very much like, Trump's innocent of the Epstein charges, and the Hollywood and the Democrats are just trying to make him look guilty. And it's like, I find that hard to believe, that she's a journalist who can't see. I'm sorry, man. 5 times on Epstein's plane, the Acosta connection, the people trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago, all of the photos and all of the times he hung out with Epstein, his quotes of like, yeah, Epstein and I both like beautiful young women or whatever. His, I wish her well to Ghislaine Maxwell. The excuses made by Trump supporters, they have clearly a blind eye to Trump's connection. I'm a little shocked that this woman, Liz, her Twitter feed is like saying that. I'm like, come on, man, you got to be smarter than this. But here's something we should at least show you. I just say that with this is from that Out of Shadows documentary that I talked about on this show a couple years ago, where she exposes Meghan McCain.
His flight logs contain names of some of the biggest, most famous, and most powerful people on the planet. Members of the royal family, Prince Andrew, models like Naomi Campbell, famous actors like Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton on those flight logs over 25 times. Hillary Clinton, she's also been to the islands. So the bigger question is, how many people that went on his private jet, that went to his private island, that went to his massive ranch in New Mexico were also involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children?
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We
Cindy
all knew
McCain.
about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
And the amazing thing about Cindy McCain is that her husband was a senator. She was on a board with the governor of Texas. She knew about Jeffrey Epstein. She did nothing. And her organization, the role of her organization is supposed to be to stop people like Jeffrey Epstein. They all knew. They did nothing about it. When Ricky Gervais said at the Golden Globes, "You're all friends with Jeffrey Epstein," he wasn't lying.
So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
So this is the thing when she's like defending Trump here, who's the only president in history to combat child trafficking. And that's where I'm just like, I do not agree with. I don't know how this woman can come to that conclusion, seeing the flight logs. She's talking about flight logs. If you were on Epstein's plane, even if you didn't fly to his island, that's a very guilty thing for me. But the other thing that Liz, that I do give her credit for, is she talks about the actual kids. This is from a sobering reminder from Ethanos that many victims of Jeffrey Epstein and other pedophiles did not survive. Ethanos is let's read this tweet. "We feel it in our spirit at this moment to remember all the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and other elitists who never made it home to tell their story. They were never afforded the right to face their accusers. The final moments of this life, as each breath slowly passed away, were filled with agony, horror, and having already been tortured, abused, raped, and scourged for days, weeks, months, or even years before their precious souls left this earth. The pain, unimaginable suffering, indescribable hopelessness, unbearable days of darkness passed by one after the other as memories of their brief former lives faded away. Staring at the entrance as the doorknob turned, hoping maybe, just maybe, it would finally be their mommy or daddy, the momentary glimmer immediately snuffed out. When another face of evil darkens the doorway again, a visage appears that was just ours. Being fawned over for an American talk show as millions of the wild, willfully blind, blankly nodded." Yeah, it's the yeah, this is why all these kids have been abused, and something that Maria Farmer said in her interview with Whitney Webb is like, there's all these kids and girls she saw that just disappeared. So I'm going to stay on the story because it needs to be talked about, and there needs to be a special prosecutor. It needs to be real, not civil suits. I mean, civil suits, fine. Go get your money if you're a victim and sue these people and find chinks in the armor and get them as often as get them. But it feels like their grasp and their power is starting to slip through their fingers. The Golden Globes, I don't know the ratings from last night. A year ago, there was like 6 million people watch the Golden Globes. That used to be watched by 15, 20, 30 million people. And now that no one's watching it, I didn't watch it. I just saw clips of it the next day on Twitter. And if everyone's just had enough. We can't let this darkness take over. We can't let this evil win. So we just have to keep talking about it. So support our show any way you can. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com or Venmo, or do a super chat, or go to my P.O. box at grahamelwood.com. You can support me the old school off the grid way. I have a Bitcoin wallet if you want to support me that way. There's any numbers of ways to support my show. So shave your knuckles for justice.